Alright everyone, it's time for a video that I was going to make last night, but I had already made 6 of them. I'm like, well, Jordan Peterson's YouTube gets, messed up, and I have to respond to Patreon, and I have to respond to the new YouTube TOS and everything else under the sun, so I'm like, I had enough. It's like, I need some time to relax. I can't be on call 24/7. You gotta sleep sometime. Even when you spoon clank and have lots and lots of caffeine in your bloodstream, or rather, less relatively blood in your caffeine stream, as the case may be. That's important. By the way, Paul Begley does it best. He's a coffee addict as well, and he's like a fundamentalist Christian, but I agree with him on that. One essence of spiritual doctrine, thou shalt drink caffeine. Seymour Hersh, who a lot of you unfortunately have probably never heard of, was on audio, and Wikileaks tweeted this out, which means they are now confirming Seth Rich indeed was the DNC leaker. Seth Rich leaked the DNC documents to Wikileaks. That has been confirmed. Seymour Hersh is a Pulitzer Prize winner who exposed the abuse at Abu Ghraib and the My Lai massacre. This is not somebody to be taken lightly. If Seymour Hersh is claiming something, he's one of the old guard investigative journalists that's still interested in investigative journalism. It's not like the idiot pundits that they slap on TV every day with their hair plugs that sit there and lie to you and read off a teleprompter because they're talentless hacks, which is 90% of the people at any of these networks. He's one of the old order of the media. From the middle of the Cold War, we're talking the Korea and Vietnam era reporting that went on, that actually thinks government should be accountable and exposed when it does something wrong. If the DNC is telling me, oh, don't read into this, it was just Russian hackers, there's nothing to see here, whoa, I'm getting sleepy, folks, I think I'm going to lay my head down on this pillow. Good night, everybody, let's not read too much into this. Just sit there and shut up like good little slaves, good little peasants. When the DNC that's directly implicated in being one of the most corrupt organizations on earth, paired with their partners in the media that those same leaks expose as being in the pocket of the DNC. When they're saying, don't worry too much, oh, sorry Seth Rich died, it was just random, he didn't have anything to do with the DNC leaks, and then Seymour Hersh is on audio, saying, oh, well, no, maybe Seth Rich wasn't assassinated, but he was certainly the DNC leaker, so maybe we're looking at a strange situation where his death was coincidental. I'm going to trust Seymour Hersh. To expose the 3 biggest political scandals of the last half-century. The My Lai massacre would be probably on that list. Watergate, I guess, would be on that list too, so there are 4 big ones. 3 of them he's involved in. And then also Abu Ghraib. For anyone that doesn't remember that, at the time it was absolutely earth-shattering that this was going on. It was a major, major event. It would be like the My Lai massacre or Watergate. And then, of course, now you have the DNC scandal with Seth Rich, where the entire media apparatus right now is talking about Seth Rich was not involved, there's a lawsuit going on, this is a conspiracy theory. Then Wikileaks helpfully tweets this out, says, no, it's not a conspiracy theory. Don't you think Wikileaks would know who gave Wikileaks the documents in the fucking first place? Why do you think they're tweeting this out? It's pretty self-explanatory. They're confirming to you, yeah, Seth Rich was the leaker. That's what they're confirming it. They're Seymour Hersh of all people. Somebody whose balls are said, look, sometimes people get older, they have like erectile problems. Seymour Hersh, I guarantee you he doesn't. He's got too much testosterone in his system. He probably has like chronic pelvic pain from being constantly able to get it up or something like that. This dude, you can't even imagine how much balls it takes to do what he's done. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to screw the Bush administration. I've already screwed administrations in the past. I already exposed like the worst elements of the Vietnam War. I've got that under my belt. And I've got a Pulitzer Prize to my name. Now I'm going to expose the fact that we're essentially torturing people in Abu Ghraib on a mass scale. And that the government's totally complicit, doesn't fucking care that it's going on. Okay, now what can I do next? I think I'll take down the DNC. And Seymour, by the way, is also a wise individual, because he says in this audio, hey, I try to stay far away from people involved with, like, WikiLeaks. I stay far away from fucking Julian Assange. I wonder why. He's saying, oh, I don't want to be photographed, walking up the steps to the Ecuadorian embassy. Probably a good idea. kind of hobble your investigative journalism, I guess. I guess the idea is that you don't want to be associated with people that might draw, you know, your association with them might draw the ire of some government, that then people are less willing to work with you, and or you have secret agents breathing down your neck trying to figure out who your sources are. So out of an abundance of caution, I guess he's like, oh yeah, Julian was inviting me up. I didn't want to go. I was like, fuck off. Probably a good idea. But Seymour Hersh, who is about as trustworthy as you're going to get outside of the very new wave of the alt media. Somebody who you should be listening to this individual, because it's important. I would put my faith in his story well over the DNC or anybody else's explanation to date of what actually happened there. He's telling you, yeah, Seth Rich leaked this stuff to the DNC. He also apparently wanted money for it or something, and then, yeah, he got, like, murdered by a gang or something. And he talks about the FBI report involved in the death. I don't know exactly how he saw it. Nobody else seems to be able to see it. So again, his sources must be pretty high up and pretty good to get him access to something like that. He's like, yeah, he tried to run. He wasn't just randomly shot and then the person walked off. He actually was already attacked and tried to flee and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, there is a cover-up in progress because it's inconvenient. And by the way, he was the Wikileaks leaker. So yeah, we've now got confirmation from Wikileaks on one of its official accounts. Hey, folks, it's not a conspiracy theory. You're actually right. Seth Rich was involved. And meanwhile, of course, the corporate media can only talk about the fact that, what's his name there is suing over the story. Oh, well, this is slanderous, and that's like a conspiracy theory. Is that going to hold up in court now that WikiLeaks has released this audio to the wider world? Is it going to stand up, or are you going to then, because you've already filed a lawsuit, are you then going to get faced with this audio in court, drag Seymour Hersh in, among other people, and have to justify yourselves while the entire nation sits back awestruck because they actually have to start talking about the fact that he indeed was the DNC leaker? I think maybe that's Julian Assange's plan. Oh yeah, let him start his lawsuit. It'll be a good thing because it'll give it more exposure when this is submitted as evidence. And when Seymour Hersh comes and says, yeah, my source that I can't name, but, you know, I've got a source, said, yeah, Seth Rich was involved. It's going to be interesting. The political fallout could be considerable, but keep in mind, groups like the DNC are very good at covering things up. And so there's no guarantee that anything comes of it. You know, intelligent people might know something fishy went on. Intelligent people might trust Seymour Hersh over some admittedly corrupt individual at the DNC. But that doesn't mean that the average normie who's still paying attention to cable news will. No, the average person watching cable news doesn't even know that this audio exists and probably never will. And if you confronted them with it, they'd say, oh yeah, but CNN didn't report on this, so it's not true, or something like that. Rather sad. That's about all. Peace out.